Jules, thank you so much for taking some time out to have a chat with us. And as I was sharing with you earlier, this is our 40th year, Leeds 40-year celebrations.
Quite amazing.
Yes, absolutely a journey it has been. But when I was looking up our database, I saw Mission Australia became our members, Leeds member, 2014. So 10 years. And such a lovely way to meet you today and celebrate that as well. Thank you for your support. Really wouldn't have been possible for us to go through these 4 decades without Mission Australia support, particularly you, Jules. You've been a big supporter of Leeds, so thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. We love to access as much training as we possibly can, so it's a fantastic organisation.
In terms of some of the services that Mission Australia provides, I mean, there are a few things I'm really keen to find out a bit more. Your targeted earlier intervention, and I think there's a focused one for Nepean and Western Sydney.
The Nepean and the Western Sydney are very similar. They're just focused on different areas, so they operate kind of the same way. The key activity areas that we have are a whole range of different activities. So we have a strong focus on supported playgroups. So we run, at last count, I think it's 7 supported playgroups a week, right across Western Sydney and Penrith. They include messy playgroups, they include ageless play, which is an intergenerational playgroup. So having our seniors and our 4-year-olds come together.
I also read a bit about your family and children program where you work very closely with schools. Do you want to share a bit about that?
Most of our early intervention work happens in schools. We have a fundamental kind of belief system or connection that we go where the families are. So we know that families are going to end up at school, so we either try to work before they get to school, so in childcare centres, in community spaces where we know that they're gathering. If we're working with children, school-aged children, then we work in the schools. So we do a whole range of skills-based training, so it could be barista courses, it's floristry courses, it's return to work courses, so a whole range of free TAFE courses with childcare so that parents can drop their kids off that go to school, they put their kids in the care that we provide, and then they go into do their courses. And so it is a really great way for women to access and think about, what do I want to do once I've got all of my kids into school? What does the world look like for me as an individual rather than mum? So it helps them to look at their identity.
And what are your thoughts about having, I'm sure being targeted earlier intervention, it's evidence-based, evidence-informed. Children's voice is a key part of the program.
Absolutely.
I'm keen to hear your thoughts on that.
We focus a lot on how do we ensure children from as young as 3 right up to 18 and telling us what they need. And so at every event that we might host or at, we're asking a whole random question. It could be through QR codes, it could be through craft, it could be through a whole range of different things. And sometimes they're just fun questions like tomato sauce or barbecue sauce, you know, just so that we can understand what's your favourite, what's your favourite sauce. And then sometimes it's the really hard questions, how did COVID impact you? Or what's your biggest fear at the moment? And so that tells us a lot about what our community is facing. Our most recent Children's Voice project was we asked a whole range of young people from 8 to 15 if you could tell your parents one message, what would it be? And we asked them, because one of the biggest industries that we have is trade. Trade is, in Western Sydney, trade is the biggest industry that we have. And so we showed them a trade pencil, the big wide trade pencil. Yeah. And we said, if we were to hand out these trade pencils to your parents, what message would you put on it? And we'll pick the best one. And so we ended up having to have 2 because we couldn't choose between them. And so the kids drew on the pencils, they did some craft on them. And we ended up with 2 messages, and one was, don't give up on me. And the other message was, don't tease me, guide me. And so that was the 2 biggest messages that Mount Druitt children wanted to tell their parents. And no message was, buy me a new TV, or I want more PlayStations, or I need more products. All of them were really lovely. Respect me, teach me, love me. They were all behaviours and connection. The other program we run is Young Parents Network, and so we have a real focus, I have a real passion for young parents, so parents that are 15 to 24. They're often seen as the most vulnerable parents in the community, but they're also the most resilient. They are the most resourceful. They have the biggest hearts and the most passionate to be the best parents that they want to be. We also run parenting and capacity, so children do not come with a manual. I don't know who thought that they come with a manual, but they certainly do not come with a manual. And it doesn't matter what kind of parent, where you grew up, what your background, how much money you have. Parenting is hard work. If we put an ad in the paper with all the jobs that parenting has to come up with, nobody would apply for that job. You don't get paid, you have to have every skill, and so who would apply for that job? You have to be mad, right? Yet we do it every single day. Parents do it every single day, and so we need support, and we need to have access to really good quality information. How do I help my children through this world that's made them anxious? How do I help my children through their ADHD, or how do I help my children just to get through life? And so we offer a whole range of different parenting support and access to information to help parents be the best parents that they want to be. And so they're all the activities we do under targeted early intervention.
Given you've Mission, and particularly through your leadership, have been members for LEAD for 10 years, would you be able to recall or highlight something that you really think LEAD has added value to in these 10 years?
Oh God, only one thing.
Or as many as you want to.
No, I think it's more a generalised statement. I think I've been in this current role for about 10 years, which is when we joined with LEAD as a member. And I think, I have an absolute passion for staff to have whatever they need to be the best version of themselves. I think we are working with often the most vulnerable members of our community, and we need to be the voice for people that may not even access services, but we need to be the voice for people. And with that, I think we need to be equipped with the latest research, the latest tools, and that we need to be upskilling ourselves every step of the way, regardless of how long we've been in the industry for.
Yes.
And so that's a fundamental for me. And so by being a member of LEAD, we are constantly having access to good training, good localised training, great facilitators. So yeah, that's why I've always been a member.
Thank you. Thank you, Jules. That means a lot, because that's our intention, to make it affordable, accessible, and timely.